Okay, hello, welcome. Let's get ready to try round 2 of this. Did want to clarify one more thing. I know we spoke about the rules in an errata video. I had mentioned that if this guy was shooting from a beach, that his strength would not be cut in half. It's not where he's located, it's not where you're shooting, it's the stuff in between. So if I'm shooting over this, that's what causes it to get cut in half. But I can go this direction. So as long as you can trace a path where you're not going over that, then you're fine. And it doesn't matter what the terrain is at your target. So thank you for that clarification. That rule definitely confuses the crap out of me. So in terms of how it was worded and my understanding of it. But now that I understand it, because it uses the word intervening brush hex. Intervening for me is like somebody telling you have an alcohol problem. So it doesn't mean anything to me. I like that just doesn't register. So thank you for the help there. So let's get started. So what I did was, as you know, on step 1, and don't mind the stuff, I'm still having issues with my board warping, so I'm trying to keep the board down. Step 1 is the amphibious operations phase. There is no actual landing on this turn, but I already set up the units at the end of the turn. We skip the events, and you can go down the list this way. You don't have to go across there. You could do either or. We skip the events, and then the Japanese go. That's the first thing that happens, and then nothing else will happen except for we will get to go. Another point I wanted to stress very much is we cannot close combat an unrevealed unit, and we can't barrage an unrevealed unit. So that greatly eliminates all of our options other than we have to just do an attack. And these tanks can't attack on turn 1 at all because you have to have an infantry to do an attack. So these tanks are pretty much worthless on the beach right now. But obviously they have, they're amphibious tanks, so they have flamethrowers with them. And so they actually help with close combat. They'll get you another card if you can get them involved in the close combat with you. But that means they got to stay alive. So let's do the Japanese fire and get started. Oh, another clarification. When I cleared the board and started over, I left all the tokens that we didn't touch. I left them. The only thing I did was I took the tokens that we had already used and just recycled them with other tokens that were already in the reserve pile. So I guess that's not a true restart, but it was a nice quick and dirty one, and that's how I did it. And the same with the depth markers. I replaced the depth markers and we're good to go. I had to remember to swap the tank back because one of those tanks moved, and then of course I redisrupted everything. So actually the first thing we're supposed to do is they actually have some pre-bombardment, pre-invasion. So we have to draw, and so we can see you have a gold, blue, and green. And so we just got to take our cup, and everywhere that we see gold, blue, or green, they are disrupted. So for example, that gold, that green, this blue, this gold over here. Gold's a good one. Gold, blue, green. Sometimes I get the temptation to suggest that you not even bother disrupting these ones that are deep inland. Out of the miracle chance that you're going to go 30 turns before you actually ever get there. It just sort of seems silly disrupting all this stuff when all you're going to do is spend another turn removing them. But I will go ahead and do it. Gold, blue, and green. This was a good set of colors, by the way. We just disrupted a whole bunch of things, and this, I think, is actually a better start than last time, at least statistically speaking. We have gold was disrupted last time we played, but green was not, and you can see we actually have quite a few disrupted. before this game even starts. But okay, so now that we did that, let's let's get going here. So we have a gold tank, which normally would suck because the only thing on the beach is tanks, but they're all in intense fire right now. Purple and brown. So this is going to be a bit of a, I think, okay round, but the gold will lose its disruption marker. And here you can see that purple is a intense fire, so this tank takes a hit from the purple. And here, this guy was 100% safe because they're both disrupted, but the gold lost his disruption marker. And then over here, this guy gets hit by brown or purple, your choice, but he only gets hit once. Even if they both hit him, no unit can take more than one hit in a given round. And then here I am walking around, removing all the gold disruptions that we just finished putting on. So, and that includes this tank over here, which I sometimes forget to do. Okay, so we removed a bunch of disruption markers, and I think we're ready to go. It is now our turn to do two actions. We have two of our tanks took a hit. That was actually a worse start than the last time. So I think I'm just going to try to get off the beach and help out. So this tank, for example, is going to do what he did before. He gets to move 2 spaces, so we're going to rush up and take that spot and at least prevent that from getting a new unit. And I still like that move. I think that's a great opening move for the tanks. As far as the other ones go, they're both down to 1, and, you know, pick your poison. Remember, we can't attack, so even though this guy's next to blue, he can't do anything. And if he tries to move, he's just getting into a worse zone. So that one I think I have to just leave be. So that leaves me with my only option of this guy, who I will move up to try to help with purple here. It could be just a wasted effort. Okay, so now we move to turn 2. And it just reminds us that the events are going to be drawn. And while I'm here, I'm going to grab the new units and put it here. Somebody requested that I use more Confucius jokes. Firstly, there's a very limited number of them that are clean and not not foul. So that's the first problem with them. And the second one, it's only the ones that I have memorized, which I was impressed to remember as many as I did. So I'll try to do my best, but I don't think I know that many more. But let's go ahead and go here. We're going to draw. And one other clarification, I said that when you draw and then you do drift, it's the symbol that drifts. And I said it was this symbol down here. Somebody pointed out to me, nope, nope, nope. It's that symbol is used for both the landing and the drift. So it's pretty interesting there. But we always start on the left. And so blue is up, and blue is not firing because it's disrupted. And in this case, we don't remove the disruption marker because this is not the Japanese action phase. It's just determining whether or not we get hit during landing. So all 3 of these are going to land undamaged, which is quite impressive. And there's no drift. If there was a drift, it would be the triangle, which would be this guy. So that's something we did wrong in the first playthrough. Okay, so somebody suggested landing all 3 like in the same exact spot. And the reason they suggested it is even if they get hammered by, like, let's say purple hits 2 of them, you still have more on that spot that can do an attack of some kind. It's an interesting idea, and this is where you would do it in my mind. I don't think you would do it over there, but this is where you would do it. The other thing is when you're landing these guys, obviously we want to take out red, but they have a good chance of taking out blue as well. So, you know, when I'm landing these 3, do I really want to focus on blue where the tank is? And by the way, if this is a big stack, that tank can help with the attack, right? The other thing is I can land them here out of the hopes of getting one of these deeper ones, right? Purple and brown would be wonderful to get rid of. I'm just not sure what the right thing to do is. I can tell you with certainty the right thing to do is never land here. Sell your game. Just move on. Parcheesi is for you if you land here. This is a last resort if you're landing there. We do have full health units. Bear in mind that the concentration limit is 7. So if I stack 2 of these together, I am going to be a concentrated unit. But understand that a concentrated unit, all it does is it turns this half circle here into a solid circle. And so right here, you got 3 full strength circles anyways, so it's not going to matter. Now here, it will matter a little bit because you're actually going to turn this into 4 solid circles instead of just 2. So now here, for example, there is no different at all. You can have a stack of 16 and having a concentrated unit doesn't change the outcome there. The reason another reason not to go here is you're not next to anything. So you have to do a move before you can even attack. So, I don't think you're going to be able to avoid a concentrated unit unless you did put one there, which I still think is just folly. So what we can do is we can put one here, for example, and that's actually not a concentrated unit. And then only purple and blue can really hurt it, but we know blue's not going to be able to hurt it because blue is disrupted. So by going here, the only thing we do is we make blue concentrated. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and yes, it's concentrated, it makes blue an intense fire, but blue's disrupted anyways. So we got a couple choices here. We could do what I'm doing here. This is not going to be a different outcome. And we might get an opportunity to take one of them out. It's rare. Or we can try to take blue out while it's disrupted. And basically we can safely land here. But the problem is then brown and orange, who are not disrupted, will get a chance to hit. I just don't like going here because there's all 4 colors hit here. I guess 3 of the 4 hit there. But yeah, I guess it's the same. It's 6 or 1/2 dozen, isn't it? It's all the same. This is 3 intense colors, and this would be 3 intense colors. It's exactly the same, in fact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to land them all here because now I get the benefit of the tank. So if they do somehow hit these units, they're going to disrupt whatever ones they hit. But maybe some of them will survive, so I can put an action on here and get them off the beach or something. I don't know. We'll try the strategy. I think no matter what, these guys are screwed. So let's see what happens. Okay, white 2 is a blue, which again is disrupted. So we're getting super lucky here. And then there's a drift right, and it's a diamond. So the diamond one drifts right. So I'm going to put that there. And then only 2 guys land. So we got another issue here where if I'm focusing on blue, I can land both of these here, and the red intense fire doesn't change, and so I can really hammer blue if I want. I'm not against that. The only other option is to land them here to take out red, which is also a nice deal. Part of me likes taking these out before they get the depth markers because they're going to get depth markers, and they go from left to right, it seems, because it goes by the lowest ID number. It's just that I've already committed to taking out blue, so why not finish the job? At least that's my thought, and it could be a dumb thought. Now this one, I can land anywhere, and green is disrupted. So I'm thinking, let's do this one there. Okay, so let's do the next beach. And we have green, which is disrupted, and there's no drift. So everybody else is landing. And so again, this is an intense fire, so we can double up pup like that. And so if this green is red is drawn, it's going to hit one of these guys. I could do this Well, that one guy I committed before I knew what the outcome was, but what I could do is this, because red can only hit one guy and green's disrupted. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's do that. I'm going to actually do this because I like the idea of going that way. Largely because I think this beach here is going to do a fine job of clearing out that yellow. Although yellow is not disrupted this time like he was last time. Again, it's a blue. There's not even a blue on there. There wasn't one there either, so no worries. There was no drift, so we get to land, and we for sure want to take out that yellow. So 2 guys are landing on yellow, and in fact, I'm going to do 3 because then brown doesn't get to hit them. So yellow is only going to be able to hit 1 guy, and we're going to just put 3 here to take out yellow. And so what I can do is I can attack with 2 of them and then move 1 or something. Okay, so because remember, I get to do a preservation move. So now the last beach, and of course I knock all my units over, is a brown, which is not what we want. And there's no drift. So it's a brown diamond, so this guy took a hit, and now they're landing. So this one we have to be a little more careful about because this is the only intense fire zone spot. And I think we're going to be fine because our pip limit is, it's actually 7. So that would still be a concentrated unit. Oh, I'll land a full health here, a full health there, and then my damaged guy there. Let's see how that plays out. The damaged guy will actually be the last one hit if purple or brown is drawn. Actually, he won't get hit at all because he's got less pips. Okay, so I knocked over my stack, but this is the new guys coming out. All right, so we got orange 1, orange 2, orange 2, white 2, orange 3, white 2, white 1, white 1, orange 3, orange 3, orange 3, orange 3, and orange 1. So orange 3 is definitely getting a lot of guys, and it's funny because last time that brown and purple was quite difficult to take out. Okay, so that was our landing phase. So now we get to do an event, and we get a naval fire marker. So this is an interesting one. Naval fire markers can give you 9 extra strength to an attack, and it has unlimited range. It's a free action to use. It requires you to have radio, though, because you have to be able to radio in for help. As long as you have a full strength infantry, then you have that requirement. Otherwise, you might need a headquarter, or you just need the actual radio weapon. One thing I was doing wrong in Tarawa that I'm going to make correct in this one is if I did an attack and realized I needed a naval artillery, I used to say, oh, well, crap, now we got to wait until next turn, and then I would use the naval artillery the next turn to finish it off. The rules are clear that it's a free action, and I can add it to an attack at any time. So if I reveal a depth marker and I realize I need naval gunfire to destroy that depth marker, I can add it as long as I have the radio requirement that is needed. So that was something I was doing wrong. The other thing is naval gunfire will disrupt any Japanese unit that is revealed and we attack, and it will destroy any depth marker, even if it's not revealed. So, for example, I can use this naval gunfire on that tank up there, and I can destroy the depth marker for that tank and disrupt the tank. But then this would be gone. This is a one-time use thing. So it's pretty handy. There's a lot of depth markers that require naval gunfire in order to defeat it. And then you either have to do optional attrition or you have to do close combat to get rid of it. So this game does give you other ways to get rid of them. If you're playing Omaha Beach, Those are a lot harder because there is no such thing as close combat in that one. You can still do it through optional attrition, which is your only option, in fact. So anyways, I got the naval gunfire here, and we'll just have to use it when the time is right. Okay, so that was a good event. Very nice to have those. And now the Japanese get to go. So let's see what exactly they do to us. All right, so purple, blue, and green are going. Purple's gonna hurt. Blue is disrupted, and green is also disrupted. So let's just do blue and green real quick. Here you can see blue is disrupted, and green is disrupted. So those are both just doing nothing. So our guys are 100% alive over there. This blue over here, of course, is disrupted because everywhere else it's disrupted, blue and green. So just give me a second while I remove all those disruption markers we spent all that time putting on. Like I said, it's a little silly, but those are the rules. Okay, all those disruption markers are gone. Purple is the only one doing some serious damage. And unfortunately, there's two spots where purple exists on the beach. Purple and gold are the two that you have two colors of. Blue, you sort of. But this purple has a depth marker, so that means it's going to kill 2 units. And so if you look where the purple's shooting, it's definitely hitting here, and it's going to hit the most pips. So these top 2 guys both take a hit, and they're both going to be disrupted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a disruption marker on them and then stick them on the bottom. Then we have these top 2 guys that did not get disrupted because purple was only able to hit 2 of them. But then when we come over here, this purple is going to hit one, and it's definitely this one. This guy has more pips than that one, so they always hit whoever has most pips. And then the second tiebreaker would be whoever's closest. So that's it for their turn, which, you know, for the most part is, I guess for an opening round, that's not too bad. But now it's our turn. So we only get 2 actions. And this is where it gets interesting because I have some very stacked units. For example, here and here, right? So what do? I mean, if I attack with these units, I can't close combat. So if I attack with these units, and even if I succeed with my attack, I'm going to lose 2 units. So I have to basically get them off the beach with a preservation move. I think the advantage of piling them high and deep like this was we basically minimized the amount of hits. I honestly don't know. This one, I'm not so sure was the best place to do this. And in fact, I'm going to lose that tank unless I spend an action just to move them. And I don't want to do that. I think I want to spend an action to attack, which is what that's going to do. And that means that these guys, that tank is going to be destroyed. So that was really dumb of me to do. The tank doesn't have a preservation move. And he's obviously not going to be the first one hit either because he only has 1 pip. So I'm going to lose the tank. And then this guy needs to do a preservation move. And so he's going to move here, but that's going to be a depth trap. But there's nothing I can do about that. So I really should have piled these guys over here. And if you'll allow me to, I'm going to change my turn because I didn't think it through. So I'm going to do that, and I know that's cheating, but I don't want to start a new game just because I screwed up on turn 2. So this would be my situation if we drew the same card, right? If all the guys would have landed here. That's the situation. So this tank would have been fine. And now I just have to get this guy off the beach with a preservation move. And this is actually brilliant because look, I get to go there. So that was a much better move. And so even though these guys are disrupted, I was able to get a guy off the beach and closer. Now I do have a question for folks. Is there an errata? Because I haven't gone to the website. See, this is a clear circle. Was that supposed to be a purple circle? Because there's no purple fire zone in here. And you can see that brown can hit it, green hits it, and then there's this clear one. Was that supposed to be a purple? Does anybody know? I'm going to assume it is, but then the question becomes, is it a solid purple or a half purple? That's another question with it. But anyways, just to re-explain to people, I'm just making sure that when my guys landed, I wasn't going to land with the tank. I landed here, and then we just played the turn exactly the way it would have played had I landed there instead of there. That's the only thing I reneged on. So my apologies if that drives some of you nuts. I think most of you who are driven nuts by that have stopped watching my channel a long time ago. So thank you for your patience there, and let's keep going. Now I do have concentrated units everywhere, and these guys, of course, I'm going to get off the beach through preservation moves, and I want to get them to the point where we can take out red and green here, and we are definitely doing that. And then the same with this purple. So even though they've been hit, we're getting them off the beach, and that one will just move there. And that's all the preservation moves. And then we're going to go ahead and get this attack going. So here we have 3 units, but one of them is going to do a preservation move. But remember, we get to pick the order of our actions. So we're going to do the attack first, and there's an opportunity maybe to move there. So let's reveal. He needs a mortar and he's a 1. This was a huge blessing. So we have 14 strength. We have more than double. Even though he gets to double that, it becomes 2. A full strength infantry unit, of course, has a mortar. And if you're ever unsure, there's a chart here. And you can see that a full strength infantry, right there, mortar. Okay? So that's what you need to use. The fact that I have a lot of it memorized, you will too. The infantry almost has everything. Just understand that they don't have flamethrowers unless they're heavy infantry, and they don't have artillery. That's a big one that they don't have. Everything else they have. And then, of course, things like flanking and CC, nobody has, because those require special situations. All right, so this is destroyed, and let's see if my memory is good from the video I just did earlier today. This is a non-elite unit that was killed during regular combat, so it goes into the eliminated units pool. If it was killed during close combat, it would have been out of the game forever. I think that's the correct way. So let me put it there, and then now I just got to check again. This is the stuff that drives me nuts, because it would be nice. I need to make a note card. In fact, I'm going to. Now I gotta find, all right, so let's do this, because this drives me nuts. All right, so if we do regular combat versus close combat, an elite unit with communication goes to the reserve. Okay, an elite unit without communication goes to eliminated. A regular is eliminated. Okay, then the close combat, an elite unit with communication is eliminated. An elite unit without communication is eliminated. And a regular is removed, or the right term is out of play. And I'm just going to make sure I look that up before I... Yes, my clock is getting impatient with me. Of course, I looked this up and I explained this to you in the last video, and I even showed you where in the rules this was, and of course now I can't remember where to find it, but here we go. Elite Japanese units eliminated in the eliminated box, non-elite are removed from play. So I got it correct. Okay, so I like to make these when I keep forgetting a rule. This should have been on some kind of sheet somewhere, but anyways, it's just a nice little thing that I can always look up so I don't get that confused. I'm the kind of person that will refuse to look up the rules and just guess because it's solitaire and I don't care. But when I'm doing a video, I will try to make it better, I promise. Okay, so we defeated him. And so this last guy gets a preservation move, and he can move and take that spot. So we just eliminated the Japanese from there. So well done. Freeing up orange makes this whole beach very attractive. Okay, so now we go over here, and we're going to try to do the same thing to blue. Now, blue is a lot harder because it has a depth marker, but let's at least try to get him disrupted. And we do have 14 strength, which is a very solid number. So we'll reveal the first one, and he needs to be flanked. See that? That FL stands for flanked. So we're not going to be able to reveal the depth marker. Even though we have double, if we don't meet the weapons requirements, the best we can do is disrupt him. And we're not going to be able to do optional attrition. So let me just explain that if you're new to the game, if I can find the right chart. Here it is. Okay, so we're in a situation where we don't meet the weapons requirement. We do have double strength, but it's an unrevealed depth marker, so all we can do is disrupt them. The only time you can destroy the depth marker is if it's revealed. And the only way you can reveal a depth marker is you must meet the weapons requirement of the top piece and have at least double or greater. In this case, you don't need double, and you can reveal the depth marker. Revealing the depth marker when you don't have double is probably going to get you in a lot of trouble. So don't try to do that as a habit. But anyways, it was still a successful attack because we disrupted him, and that means blue is not going to hurt us next round. And it would have been nice maybe to eliminate him, but it is what it is. We can probably close combat him next time because he is now revealed. And he's also eligible for, what was I going to say, to be barraged. So if he loses his disruption marker next time, these tanks can barrage him. But those cost actions, so it's not quite as easy to do in the early game here. Okay, we're done with our US actions. That is the end of the turn. We move to turn 3. And this M action is now going to be available. And I just like putting it here because these C zones don't really get used. The M action can be very annoying when it comes up, but just remember that the Japanese get the M action. And so now we do the amphibious phase, and so we're going to start here again. And let's see what happens. We have a brown, which is not good. So it hits diamond, and that's also not good because we actually had a diamond out here. So the tank took a hit. And then this HQ cannot control tanks. He doesn't get to command tanks. So if I put this HQ unit on a tank, it doesn't help. By the way, at the end of our turn, we lose our disrupted marker. So now they both need to land. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pile these tanks together over here. Am I really going to do that? What's the... So this is 6 pips here, and this will make it 8. But I'm going to go ahead and land him there, because the tanks don't do him any good. For whatever reason, he can only be a headquarter for infantry units, so the tanks don't do him any good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm still struggling with what to do over here. But I think that by piling the tanks like this, if I do spend an action marker on this, I'm at least going to get 2 tanks to barrage or do something, right? And they can both barrage the same place. As long as they do the same action to the same place, 1 action marker is all you need. So it might help. Who knows? The fact that he took a damage really hurts, though, because this tank was going to be pretty cool. All right, so no drift, as you can see. Move on. So now we got blue, which is we disrupted. So very good there, and no drift. So both of these are going to land, and I'm going to give the HQ unit to them, and the tank I will go ahead and land up here, who, if I had the action points, might actually be really helpful here. But it's going to be really hard, unless I draw a hero or something. Okay, so next we have this orange beach, and we drew a brown. There is no brown, so we're good there, and there's no drift. So once again, we land, and this HQ unit doesn't have anybody to land with, but we'll go ahead and put the tank here and the HQ unit with him. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, moving down. We got this guy here. It's a blue, which there is no blue. No drift. And so I'm going to put the HQ unit right with the guy. And, oh gosh, I'm so tempted to land him here where the brown is. You know what? I will, because if brown fires, he's going to hit this one first because he's closer. So I am going to land them here. They will be safe. And of course, there is no orange, so we don't have to worry about orange. Then this last one is red, which is good. There is a drift left for the diamond. So do we have any diamonds to drift left? There's one. The tank will drift left. It is just 1 unit, right? It's not... Yeah, it's just 1 unit. So I think I get to choose now, the tank or the infantry. And I think I'm going to choose... I think I'm going to choose the infantry. Yeah, I'll choose the infantry, and I'm just going to put him here. And then this headquarters will land there. And then the tank, we can land there. And this infantry there. I'll reverse it. So, I mean, my logic was actually just by moving this infantry over, it was just going to be less chance of concentrated units here. And the tank is like a lot less invasive in that regard. Not that it matters that much, but that's my thought. And I know that a regimental HQ lands here, so there will be a tank waiting for him. And then another regimental HQ lands here and gets a tank, and I can't remember where the third one is. I think it goes all the way to weight 1. But anyways, that's our turn. So let's see. We have to do an action now, and we're on obviously just turn 3. So it'll be place a hero marker. There we go. And then the Japanese get a depth. So the depth marker from the first time we played, we already know is going over here on brown because it's the lowest number that's next to a a beach landing, and is next to one of our units. So we get a hero marker, which is good. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Do we put the hero marker on an infantry or on a tank so the tank can help us? I want to say, do I have the gonads to put it here? Because now this guy will get to go for free, and if these guys get to go, we get to do some serious hurting on them. The problem is by putting this here, if I draw a brown, he's guaranteed to get hit. And if this is a purple, he's got 2 ways to get hit. So I'm wanting to say that this is a half purple because that's a half purple, right? So the backside's a little weaker for him. This is a high risk, high reward situation to do that. Now, if I put him over here, it's not as high risk. For example, this guy is guaranteed to get hit if I draw a brown, but this guy's guaranteed to go free. But these guys, for example, any of these guys, I can get a hero on, we can get some free movement. This guy's guaranteed to get hit if we draw purple. This guy would be guaranteed to get hit if we draw blue or whatever, and it's actually matches the symbol. So I could put a hero here and get a free shot at purple. That's my dilemma, is where do I put this hero? It's such a wonderful thing to have, but at the same time, it's actually a little bit of a curse. So I think what I'm going to do, and then the other thing I can do is put it here so I can get some free actions and then just make a run for dodge. There's actually a lot of good strategy to that. But I think looking at the situation, I want to take out red and green, and I can't unless I spend both of my actions here. And I got other places I want to spend actions. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go big. Let's go big. Let's win this game. All right. So that's my event. And so now we do... now we do the Japanese action, and he is going to get hit. I'm pretty sure he is, but let's see what happens here. So first, there's the M symbol, okay? So we gotta look that up, and it's for gold. So we're actually gonna be taking some damage here. So the M symbol, remember, we're only doing this side. Ignore Bloody Nose Ridge. If they're occupied and there's U.S. units in the field of fire, it's doing this stupid machine gun thing. That's actually not too bad. Machine guns, what that does is it extends their range by 1 and allows them to hit, a little bit deeper. And so there's this Japanese fire chart. Oh, speaking of which, let me pause for a second. These units are going on the beach. So let's do these. So we have, this is any orange beach, any, this one's 03. This is any orange beach, any orange, and this one is 03. So we got 2 of them for sure landing on 03. This one's any white beach, and I'm gonna land it on white 2 because I still don't trust white 1. And then I have 3 orange beaches that I can land, and orange 2 is completely safe for landing. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on orange 1. Okay, so now with that said, this Japanese fire chart. So any hex that's outside the field of fire and adjacent to an intense hex counts as machine gun fire. So let's use red here, for example. So normally they fire here for intense and then there for not intense. But let's go this way. This is a better example. So 2 intense, and then here you can see that's not intense, but it's for this unit up here, not for him. So what this guy's range becomes is he can actually hit here and there, which you see there's no red at all, and he also hits here. And that's what the machine gun fire does, is it hits those areas that are next to an intense fire, so it extends his range by 1. That's what machine gun fire does. And so this gold guy here is going to do that. He doesn't need machine gun fire. He has so many people in his intense fire zone. He has a field day. He's going to hit 2 units. And you can see here, it's a diamond. He's not going to hit tanks, so we don't have to worry about that. But he's going to hit both of these units. So K and L are both going into catastrophic loss already. So we just got 2 catastrophic losses. And that's orange. Now, there was another orange, but we took it out. So that doesn't do anything to us. Now, we got to be careful, though, because this is the special action M. And you can see that if there's anything that is in communication and within 3 hexes, there's a muster command. So if I hadn't taken those 2 orange spots, one of them would have actually mustered, and we would have actually just had whack-a-mole, where Japanese units just appear out of nowhere there. So that's a good outcome. Now I'm looking around and I don't see, like, there's an empty one here, but it's not within 3 spaces of a US unit. It's close, but not close enough. Okay. Now lastly, there's a yellow tank, and we must be mindful of that. I think I already forgot to do, well, this purple tank would have been undisrupted. See, I always forget to do the tanks, so forgive me there. And that yellow tank does get to do an action. And so we gotta get that accomplished here. And so this yellow tank, we go here to the M, and then we look up armor unit, and it's gonna fire if US unit is in a field of fire, and then if US units remain, it fires again as a separate action. Well, the good news is no one's in his field of fire. Now, his field of fire is everywhere that position hits. And so it's really close because he hits all the way out to here, as you can see. But the tank gets to hit 1 more space further. So the tank actually goes all the way to here, here, and then here, and then there. So he's missing it by 1. So that tank being in the middle of the airport there, it's actually got quite a long range of being able to hit. But he can't hit anybody. So blue happens, and we ignore the R, but this blue loses its disruption marker, but it doesn't do anything. And that's fine. That was the whole point of disrupting it. This blue over here does happen, and he's shooting there. So this guy gets hit for sure. So K37 goes into the catastrophic loss file. I grabbed the wrong units. This is K37. K and L 31 were the 2 I was supposed to grab on the other side of the map. Okay, so blue hit this one. He would have not hit this one, but unfortunately this is an intense fire zone, so he takes the hit first. Priority. Next, just looking around, there's no other blue, so we don't have to worry. There's no special action to do because the letter was R, and the R is not active yet. Not till 2 more turns from now. And then lastly, this one I think is going to be the most devastating to us, is the brown. The brown gets to hit now, and it's diamond. So starting here, this brown hits, which hurts. And then this brown over here is going to hit, and it's going to hit 2 units. And it's going to hit our unit for sure. So that hurts. And then it's going to hit one of these. And I think I get to choose. No, I don't get to choose because these 2 have already been hit. So then the HQ gets hit. And so it's now down to 1 pip. So that HQ unit took a beating as well. So that ends the turn, and maybe some of you are reminding me, I gotta disrupt my units. So all of them are disrupted. So my hero is screwed. That was the stupidest decision I ever made in my life. And there's nothing I can do. So I'm sure I made worse life decisions than that, by the way. Is there a tank on brown? No. Is there a tank on blue? Yes, there was. And a tank with a normal action is going to fire or advance. So it's going to advance 1, 2, 3. So it'll advance to there. That's what blue does. And just because he advances to brown doesn't mean he goes with brown. I mean, that doesn't work that way. Okay, so I put my hero on junk, and he's going to spend the whole game disrupted and not be able to do anything. And my purple and brown opportunity are being disrupted, so that's uncool. And now it's peanut butter action time, and I should have put my hero on one of these guys. I really needed that, and it was a stupid move. So what am I going to do? Because here's my issue. If I put a hero on one of these, I would have been able to attack both of these, and then I could have used my action here and had both of these units attack purple to get purple out of the way. Now I have to make a tough choice of which two of the three am I going to go after. And my answer is red and green, because I really feel like this side of the beach is harder, and that the purple is going to fall even if he hits me a few more times. But I hate the fact that I had to make a choice between the two. The other thing is this is a 2-pip unit. This is 4, 5, 6 pips, but those are already intense fire. So I'm going to move them in, and so I am going to get a free attack on purple. These guys can't do anything because there's no actions. I am spending actions on both of these this guy's going to attack there, this guy's going to attack there. So that's simple enough. As far as preservation moves go, I can get this guy off the beach. This guy gets a free move, but we have intense fire everywhere, so he doesn't get to move far. And since this is an intense fire zone, he's just going to move right on top. Oh, I can't do that because then I have a stack of 3. I have a stack limit. Sorry. That is a stupid move. With the stack limit, I can't do that. So, ooh, this is hurtful. There's nowhere to move. I mean, I can, oh, I'm sorry. I had a stack limit here. So if I move these two there like that, that would be, or no, that's not a stack limit. The HQ does or does not count. I gotta look that up. See, he's regimental HQ heroes and garrisons do not count towards stacking. HQ infantry units do count as a unit for stacking. So he counts, so I can't do that. That's what hurts about this. So I'm stuck on this beach with him, and I can't really get off. Same with this guy, but I can at least move him here, even if that's not a better move. And I can make a concentrated unit. That's not an issue there. And then I can get this one at least off the beach. But I got the same problem where this guy can't go anywhere. I guess he can go that way. All right, so these two are my actions. I know I didn't put the marker on, but they are my actions. So let's do that. These two are going to attack here. And he needs close combat, but we do double him, and we at least disrupted him. These two will attack here, and he needs radio and MG, and he has a strength of 3. We have the radio, we have the MG, that's not an issue, and he doesn't even get doubled because he's in brush. So we have 14 strength, and we obliterated him. Now, he does have communication, so he's going to go in the reserve. So that's what happens. So he goes over here and ends up in the reserve pile. But we did defeat him, and that part was good, because now with this unit, the HQ unit, he gets a free something something, so we can move with him to there and make sure that red doesn't get claimed by the Japanese. Now that HQ unit doesn't help the tank. The tanks have to move on their own. And then we get over here, and you can see we have an HQ unit here, and then this unit. So he's in command of the units on his space, I believe. So is it 1 unit or 2? This is new to this game, so bear with me, because these rules are... I read them and I understand them, but then I forget them. Okay, an infantry unit stacked with any infantry HQ unit, an infantry unit stacked with an infantry HQ unit at the start of the action phase is in command and may conduct a free action. It says an, so a single infantry unit. So what I'm going to do is these two guys are going to close combat him, because I can't deal with flank at the moment. It's just going to take too much setup and I'll get killed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And that'll be at the end of the round. And then, of course, these two lose their disruption marker and don't get to do diddly. So that hurts. Okay, so let's do close combat. And the Japanese do get to reveal their depth marker, which is one of the nice things about close combat. And it's a close combat depth marker, which I guess it's okay. So they're going to get 2 cards because they are 2 units. And then they're going to get 1 more card because of the close combat symbol. They don't get a card because they have 4 strength or any other reason. So that's all they get for their close combat. Now we get cards. We're going to get 4 pips because we actually have 6 pips, but we only get 4 pips worth of cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we get another one because we have a flamethrower. The HQ unit provides a flamethrower, but we don't have a hero. So that would have been another way. And so let's get this camera set up so we can do close combat. They go first. Unfortunately, they're not disrupted anymore. But the color that we're interested in is blue. So this was an excellent first thing. And let me get the camera back more. So they missed. And YouTuber had mentioned to me many times, and I keep forgetting it in the rules clarification, there's an event here called Heroism. It says add a card to the pile of the side revealing this card. No, I'm sorry, reinforce. Add a card to the Japanese card pile. And if the participating Japanese unit has no death marker, draw and place a death marker. If from US pile and the card has a hit, treat as no event and no hit. Okay. There's a clarification, I guess, on the internet. I'm assuming the Compass website that says that if you draw this reinforce event on a US card, the Japanese don't get the reinforce action. So, and they don't even get the extra card. I think I was doing they don't get reinforced, but I always gave them the extra card. So anyways, that's something I've been getting wrong. So it's a very situational thing, but when it does come up, we get to ignore it if it's on our card, which we're going to reveal right now. Okay, there it is, blue. We've already got a better game. So this see, in Tarawa, the depth marker would be destroyed right now. But in this crappy game, he gets disrupted. So, but the good news is we remove one of his cards. So it wouldn't have been a hit, but in this event wouldn't have affected us. But now he gets to go. And we got super lucky. Look at that. There's no blue card for him. so he didn't hit us. So now we just play the rest of our cards. The first one, nothing happens. Second one, we got a blue. And so we do finally destroy his depth marker, which is good. And depth markers, like I said, are out of the game when they're destroyed. So, sorry, I'm reaching over the camera. Okay, then there's this US fire on counterattack. I think we get to ignore that. It applies only if the Japanese is in counterattack stance, which doesn't happen yet at this game. It's a new thing in peleliu, this counterattack thing. I really don't know all the rules per se, but they don't go into effect until later, so we'll worry about them when we hit them. Okay, so next, look, we got another blue. This was a wonderful close combat. This is how they're all supposed to go. And this was a non... so this unit's out of the game, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to put it out of the game. And that, my friends, was Marines in action. And then this card goes back in the card pile. That was extremely well done. You couldn't have asked for it to be any better. So we've already accomplished more than we did in the last game. Okay, now with that being said, we're starting to make a dent, but this here is still death row, and I made some dumb choices there. But nothing I can do about it. And I can't barrage them or do anything until they're revealed. So I need to get units there to hit them. And unfortunately, you need free actions for that. And that's what makes this these opening rounds really hard. You have to be very patient, I think. Okay, so we are done with our turn. And we're moving on to turn 4. So I'm at an hour, so I'm going to end the video here. And I will see you in 2 seconds. Stay awesome. Thanks for joining me.